The arts industry has been impacted heavily by COVID restrictions, and now domestic tourists are being encouraged to visit community art centres around the country.
In the heart of Australia, the Parrtjima Light Festival has begun in Alice Springs overnight, showcasing the cultures of the Aranda people of Alice Springs, but also Indigenous artists from across the Central Desert and more broadly from around the nation. And we can bring you now Rhoda Roberts, who's the creative curator of the Parrtjima Festival. Welcome, good to have you along. How was last night?
Well, Dan, it was absolutely amazing. Huge crowds, but it was quite extraordinary because, as you can see, the weather is pretty amazing here. But to have Electric Field open our event, our 10-day free event, was just a wonderful atmosphere out on the site at the Central Desert Park here in Alice Springs. And there was quite an energy, and I think it was that a lot of people are really excited about coming together and gathering because we have been living in such isolation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it seems like this is one of those first events of its size coming together, particularly for the Northern Territory. We're seeing at the moment, Rhoda Roberts, some spectacular vision that I understand is from last year of camels, of the Yipirenia honey ant, of mixing and blending and sharing aspects of different cultures. What are you trying to say with this year's festival?
Well, actually, the camels and the honey ants are from this year's event, and we've got a thematic that's future culture. So it's looking at the intergenerational transmission of knowledge and looking at a lot of our new and emerging artists. And so we wanted to have a bit of fun with it, but we also wanted to capture some of the history in this region. Of course, everyone knows of the Garn and the big train, but a lot of Australians possibly don't know of the Cameliers and how many of them married into our communities, and we also have that heritage. And so the camels, and that artwork is by Chantel Mullidad from Ginger Porter community, Santa Teresa. And so it captures the influence of not only the Afghan artwork, but also the local Aboriginal artwork.
I love that term that you use, Rhoda Roberts, the intergenerational transmission of knowledge, sharing from one generation to another, perhaps across cultures as well.
Absolutely. We all have these interconnected histories. And I mentioned electric fields last night, and I think that really captures what our tomorrow could be, because it's a collaborative duo that play electronica music but immerse it with local Aboriginal language, and it is just extraordinary. And that's what we are. All our histories connect some way on this amazing country that we're in, and so we're trying to also give that feature in the festival with our music lineup, our talks. We've got films as well as the great light installations. Yeah,
Rhoda Roberts, so often the conversations that we've had, you and I in the past, in fact, around First Nations is around the deficit of things that are not going well. This is such an important conversation gathering point, looking to the future, having positive conversations, finding that touch point where we come together. How do you see that as part of, well, the big national discussion we're having about truth-telling?
Exactly, Dan. It is about truth-telling. And I mean, our In Conversations each night at 8:30 out at Desert Park with speakers such as Bruce Pascoe, Shelley Morris, Casey Donovan, various other artists talking about their lives and their stories. And often it's stories and talks that people don't hear. And to move forward, we do need that truth-telling. But I think the big thing about Parrtjima is everyone likes a light show. Everyone has a family, so they want to bring their families. But there's so many similarities, and we often don't concentrate on those. We tend to look at the differences, but it's the similarities that are bringing us together. And as I say, it is such an extraordinary gathering. I mean, the joy that was amongst the audience last night, it was just extraordinary. And I thought, this is what it is. If we can give currency and value to this ancient culture and then, reflect it in a very relevant 21st century medium, it can bring everyone together, and that's exactly what it's doing.
Yeah, there's certainly more that pulls us together than pushes us apart, and your festivals there in Alice Springs, Parrtjima and around the country are certainly testament to that. Rhoda Roberts, curator, thank you so much for your time.
Oh, thank you so much, and just let everyone know it's absolutely free, so please come to Alice Springs and say hello.
Get there to Central Australia, toot sweet. Thank you so much.
It's great to see some of these cultural events, the arts events coming back. I think people really need it.
And when we saw some of that vision, isn't it spectacular?
Yeah,
You just
and
kind
a great backdrop as well. Amazing.
Yeah, with the West MacDonnell Ranges there, the culture of the Aranda and so many other people. It's very, very special if you can get a chance, but maybe a bit tough if you're not flying yet.
Yeah, that's true.